So, good morning, Robyn. Thank you so much
Morning.
for joining us. We're super excited to have you and Jack here with us.
Oh, thank
And please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Robynne Oosthuizen. I'm the owner of a canine training company called Luna Hounds. My career actually started with training canines for the front line of nature conservation. And then, we ended up moving because of COVID to a very citrus populated area. And I saw a need. And I thought, well, dogs are currently smelling for cancer and doing the most incredible things. Why are we not utilizing them in the citrus industry? So then, I got in touch with CRI and managed to work something out that we could test this theory of getting dogs to detect false codling moth. And
Did you initiate the initial contact?
yes, I did.
And what did they say?
They've been waiting for me.
Isn't that
So
wonderful?
they actually started it in 2016 with Canine Max, who proved the concept that dogs can do it. But for some reason, the program fell apart. I think there was a problem with handlers, and Sean was like, let's go. Sean Moore was like, let's do it. And that's what we've been doing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So what sparked this initial thing that you thought, but maybe there's something here?
So my husband works as a pack house manager. So he comes home and tells me all these things that are happening and the problems they're having with pallets being rejected and, the situation with South Africa and obviously the EU. And that's where it sparked. I just randomly thought up the idea, why, if I can train dogs to smell ivory in the middle of an engine block, why can't I train them to smell a worm in a fruit?
That was a good day for the citrus industry when you had that spark.
Thank you.
That's phenomenal. I just want to say, having your big boy sitting here next to me, and he's panting and he's got hot breath, and he's so cute. I just want to cuddle him.
He thinks you're holding a very nice looking toy.
I know. I can see his absolutely rapt attention.
That'll be an expensive toy, my son.
Yeah, we might hear the inside of him
Yeah.
if the mic goes down.
Yeah.
So, wow. So, how long have you been doing this for? And tell us more.
So the false codling moth,
Yes.
I've been doing for 2 years now. Yeah, but no. But my career goes back to, I think it's 2017 when I started training dogs. Yeah.
And what got you into that?
Absolute actual passion for wildlife. So since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be on the front lines of anti-poaching. Did the courses. It was incredibly difficult to get there, and I got an opportunity to start a detection unit in the Timbavati, and that's where it started. And it was my first into actually following my passion. And then I discovered the world of dogs, and it's just, my soul's on fire working with them. So that's how it started, and I don't think I'll ever stop. Yeah, there's so much we can do with them. And I mean, like I said in my presentation, they've got more than 200 million sensory receptors. So basically, they can smell 1 trillionth of a molecule in the air. And that's something that we really need to capture and utilize. And I mean, they've been our best friends for hundreds of thousands of years. Yeah, well, 30,000 years. But why not?
Yeah, I got to do with dogs. I worked on a project outside the town where we live. It's a tortoise reserve.
Okay.
And they've trained dogs to sniff out the tortoises.
Amazing.
Because the people couldn't find them because it's geometric tortoises, so they get about that size.
Yeah.
And they hide underneath the brush, and the people they quadrupled their efficiency by using the dogs instead of just walking a line.
Yeah, so my friends are busy with pangolin research, doing exactly the same thing.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, firstly getting dogs to smell where the pangolin burrows are, and then getting them to actually track the pangolin to find them. It's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you've opened up a completely new thing with the citrus industry.
Yeah,
and I
hope so.
presume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, this will work in other fruit as well.
Yeah. That's what we're looking forward to, is the next years to come. Where's our limitations with this? What can we and can we not do? I think it's very ambitious, but I would love to try get dogs to smell black spot. Yeah.
So, I must say, it's. I'm kind of overwhelmed by what we saw yesterday, and we saw the demonstration, which was phenomenal, of him of him actually smelling out the false codling moth.
Yeah.
Never in 1,000 years would I have ever thought of dogs doing it. So, as I said to you, it was a good day for the citrus industry. Is this happening in any other countries?
Not that I've heard of. I've heard in California they're trying to run some kind of a project. I don't know much about it, but nothing successful. So it will be an industry first, especially if we can push it to commercialization. And we can't say to people, you have to have dogs in pack houses. But when you look at the statistics, like I was saying yesterday, why wouldn't you want that 99% assurance that my pack house is not exporting infested fruit? And then, I mean, I just look forward to South Africa. I'm very South African proud, being a country that sits on top of the world for their pest management and for their pest detection. Why not, you know?
Look, he's not going to be in the back house. He's going to be either in the intake or the loadout.
Exactly.
So he's not going to be anywhere near where the fruit is going to be packed.
Exactly. We stay within health and safety regulations. And like I was explaining with the picking bins is still something very much we're working on, and we've had great success with it. We can scan so much fruit in such a shorter period of time. And actually from working in the cargo in the airports, I got the idea. If we can scan warehouses of cargo for drugs and illegal wildlife products, why can't we scan massive bins of fruit? It's the same concept. So we're staying within health and safety regulations, and we're able to do more work actually that way. And it's stressful for the dogs in the pack house. There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of machinery.
Yes.
So let's take that out and, you know, put them in an environment where they operate effectively, and that is outside the pack house.
Yeah, yesterday I filmed him with the boxes on the ground.
We had a bit of a hiccup in the beginning.
But who says it? That was my question. Who says it was a hiccup?
Exactly. So he gave such a strong, I don't know, he was really, I'm just going to lie down because I feel pressurized by everybody, but he wasn't showing any interest in the boxes in the beginning. And my view was that there wasn't actually an infested fruit there.
But he went to that one 2 times.
Afterward. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So this could be very big. I hope you sort of getting yourself ready for a career that could take off in a massive way. Because if this is happening where you live in Groblersdal, as you told us,
there's a lot of citrus, a lot of grapes.
There's a lot of citrus around there, and there's more than just citrus. And false codling moth is a problem in more than just citrus.
Yes.
So this is hugely exciting, and we will watch your progress with great interest going forward.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
I was thinking yesterday, after I saw all of this, how can this be turned into a business for someone? I know it's a business for you. You will be doing the training.
Yeah.
Like for instance, guide dogs.
Yes.
It's that you could have a service provider in Western Cape or everywhere that gets the dogs from you, and they build a little business for themselves. Can that be done? Do you see it like that? How do you see it going forward?
How do I see it going forward? So I'm very particular with my dogs. I'm not going to just send them off to anybody. So, there would be an opportunity for a service provider to take it on, but the way I would set it up would be very rigid with how the dogs are treated, how's the training done, what are the handlers doing. They have to go through their detection unit standards to be able to work with these dogs. So I think there is an application for it to expand, but I would like to really much so make sure that my dogs are okay, they're being treated well, and this goes forward into whatever other industries that want to pick it up, or if someone would like to expand my business, they would have to really stay under my guidelines for how we treat our animals.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
I'm just thinking there might be a police canine unit person that's retiring, because this is not a high stress job.
No, not at all.
It's not going to be like he's going to be in dangerous environments. Could a retired police dog be trained to do this?
Yeah, every dog's different. Hey, so our selection program is quite difficult. Say just because the dogs can smell illegal wildlife products or narcotics or something doesn't necessarily mean they have the drive to search for fruit, if you understand what I mean. So you could say most dogs could do it because they've all got a nose, but it really takes a certain type of personality to do it. So there's can I let him go off a little bit?
Can.
I think
That's
he's hot.
That's fine. Yes, he had very hot breath there.
Yeah, it's quite warm in here.
Yes, it
Jack,
is.
Lala, my boy. Jack, Lala, good job. My favorite command, Lala. So
Yeah.
you can take him
Lovely.
anywhere and you tell him Lala and he knows, okay, I should just go to sleep.
She's going to
now.
teach
And
the
that's-
baby as well.
And that's
Yeah,
and that's
teaching him
wonderful.
sit and stay at the
And that's
moment.
wonderfully African.
Yeah,
Lala.
Lala.
There you go.
Makes me want to sleep
Yeah.
sometimes.
There's not
Yes.
much difference between dogs and toddlers.
I'm finding that out. Yeah, they both can be very naughty. Like presenting yesterday, I wanted to say to everybody, this is a living animal. It's got a beating heart. He's got a mind of his own. To ask him to perform in front of everyone like that was really interesting. And I think he did so great
Yes.
given the circumstances. Me and Sean Moore are actually going to go look at that box of fruit and try to figure out what did he get it right? Was it what's happening there? Because I have a thing, trust your dog. Your
Yes.
dog tells you what you need to know, and especially if you put the training in like that. Yeah.
So how long does it take to train him to do this?
So to imprint the odor so that the odor's in the head, they can't even walk past an infested fruit with saying, oh, Mom, it's there. That's what we trained. So it takes more than 2 years.
Wow.
Because remember, we've only got 6 months of the year of the citrus season to actually do it. And then the other half of the 6 months is done teaching the search patterns and conditioning for around the pack houses and obedience and things like that. Yeah. My aim would actually be to have them working in citrus for half the year and then move them over to something like grapes or something else for the
definitely.
rest of the year.
And the opportunity is definitely there.
Yeah.
And the smell's the same. So, that is the one thread that goes through the whole thing. I would imagine the smell is the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then you've got to come down to the Cape.
Yeah, I'd love to. Open a branch there. Yeah.
I was thinking that if you're talking about detecting this problem, this
Massive problem. Yeah.
this massive problem, being able to smell it at source, this is something that they could potentially be using when the fruit is offloaded on the other side in the markets. They could probably use that for detection on the other side as well.
Absolutely.
It's something that could spread to the country of where the market is.
So interesting. I was talking about odor traps yesterday. So that entire container, you could just vacuum out a scent sample from the container, present this to the dogs and see, do they detect FCM odor in that entire container? That container could be flagged. So, I mean, the possibilities are endless, and I'm so excited about the future with it. Just to get to watch my dogs work is my highlight. But if they're going to make an impact for the citrus industry and for the agricultural industry, then that's a big bonus for me. Yeah.
So I would imagine when we meet interesting people, we do get to meet a lot of them.
It's a privilege.
Yes.
It's a privilege to meet you.
And I always tell them, what do you tell people you do? Now, it's easy to say that you're a dog handler, you train dogs, but what do people say when you tell them he's been trained to sniff out a pest?
I get a weird look, like, are you crazy?
Yes.
Yeah, so normally when I tell people I'm a dog trainer, they go, oh, I've got this Jack Russell. And,
Yes.
and I'm like, no, I'm a specialized dog trainer. But the people that I have told have been so supportive, and I think a lot of people are quite shocked because they don't realize what dogs can do. And then I'm very happy to take them out and do a demonstration for people, and then their minds are blown, and you can see that wheel turning about what possibilities does this have. So I think a lot of people, especially, I mean, in the first year I started it, we're like, this is never going to work. How is she going to manage to get this right? And yeah, we're sitting here 2 years later, and it's a success, and we can do it. And yeah.
I'm just thinking of some of the implications. Like, we've done a lot of work to do with protocol work to, like, especially China.
Yes.
And FCM is a big thing there. And on certain fruits like particular avocados,
Yeah.
needs to be fumigated
Okay.
against the pest. I'm just thinking that if you can test that container, scan it with the dog, and say that this is clear, and you get a phytosanitary certificate stating that it's clear of FCM, it doesn't need to be fumigated.
Yeah. 100%.
Can you train the same dog to sniff out fruit fly as well?
Yes. Yeah.
So
So you can, the most I've known a dog on different scents is 23 different types of scents.
Wow.
So, no, they can absolutely do different types of pests and, anything. It depends how you train it. Which I'm not going to tell you how.
No.
No, I'm joking.
No, that's incredible, because what Dewald was saying about having to fumigate stuff, that is a deadly poison.
Yes.
And if you can, it would be so much more enviro-friendly
Yeah.
if a dog can sniff it and go, it's clear, we don't have to use that stuff.
Yeah.
But particularly because of the protocols that it must be done
Exactly.
at. It must be done at farm, because you cannot cool down the fruit and then reheat it, because it must be done at 21 degrees and warmer.
Okay.
So it cannot be done after the cooling stage has begun.
Yes.
It must be done on farm.
And if you don't need to do that, then
Plus the cost saving that you're
100%.
going to be saving in the actual fumigation, putting up infrastructure to do it, getting people to come, organization. I can just see it will be incredibly.
this is such a great idea. And I hope a lot of people come up to me and say, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And then we can try test it and see, does it work? Can we do it? Because obviously I'm a bush girl. I don't know all about the farming
Yes.
industry. So any ideas like that, I'm so welcome to trying it. And now that we've got this nice baseline of dogs that can do FCM, we can just step it up and see what else they can do. Great idea.
I think
I'll look into that.
the possibilities are a lot more than we've even thought about here. I think
Exactly.
you'd be surprised at how far this can go. But tell us a bit more about the type of dogs you use.
Cool. Let's talk dogs. That's nice. So I use dogs that are real impact players in industries all over the world. So your typical German Shepherd, he's a cross, and then you get a Dutch Shepherd, which is very black with a mottled coat, and then you get the Belgian Malinois, which everybody knows, you know, thanks to some movies from overseas, everyone went out and bought a Malinois, but they really are the most incredible working dogs. They have such drive for working. It's hard to actually get them to stop working, and that's the most beautiful thing. Particularly any type of shepherd is a good working dog. You can use hounds. Hounds I use for tracking, for man trailing. They've got great noses, but they don't have, it's a hound brain. So to get them to learn the indication and training them to keep a scent in their scent log basically is quite difficult. So any type of shepherd is the best route to go.
And the hounds can be real slobber chopsers as well.
Absolutely. We say they've got a hound brain. They're like, huh? What? But if you put them on a trail, they don't stop for anything. Because that's their genetics. That's how they are. We're purposely bred. The shepherds were bred for human use, if you know what I mean. They've always been supporting humans, whether it's herding cattle, herding sheep or cattle or something like that.
So how many dogs do you currently have that you take care of?
I've got a lot less than I used to. We had a good year, but I've got 13 at the moment, and 8 of them are in the FCM detection program.
So who's going to be handling all of them? Have you got people
I've got people who work for me. And as I said, we're going to try push for CETA endorsement to make this working
Who's CETA?
So it's the regulatory board for education, basically.
Okay.
So we, to become a dog handler, you need your dog handling level 1 to 5, which covers a variety of things like kennel handling, kennel maintenance, working with dogs to apprehend a suspect, then using dogs for detection. So I'd love to get another unit standard in that module for dogs working in agriculture like this, because it's a completely different thing. And you really need handlers to understand those fine little changes of body language that your dog shows you in order to pick up what's going on. So it's very important to have the correct education to provide. You can't just take a guy off the side of the street and say, work with this dog. One, the dog's not going to work for him. You have to do a handover with the dog. And then he also has to be able to read, what is the dog telling me? I have such a funny story if I can tell it.
Please do.
We love funny
It's
stories.
a bit, I was conducting a vehicle search. We were looking for ivory and rhino horn and pangolin and stuff like that. And I knew my dog so well at this time that if he smelt animal scent, which would have been like if he'd hit a scrub hare or something, then his tail would drop, he'd slow down, you could see he would focus on it, and I'd say, keep moving. And my boss at that time was watching me through a video camera because it was a suspect vehicle. And he called me into the office later and he said, your dog indicated and you didn't even do anything and da-da-da. And I said, I know my dog. There was nothing there. It was animal scent. And I almost got into huge trouble about it. But I fought tooth and nail and I said, I know my dog. That was animal scent. I actually ended up calling the driver and I said to him, did you hit anything? Because he was still there. And he said, yeah, I just hit a scrub hair on my way in here. And I said, do you see?
There you go.
Yeah. So you got to know your dog. You've got to know how to work with
And
them.
you've got to trust, and you've got, as you said earlier, you've got to trust your dog.
100%. And your dog's always right. 99% of the time, they know what they're doing.
I'm curious.
Wow.
So your husband said to you, this is an issue. You said, okay, let's see what we can do. So it took you 2 years. You got one up to that you. So it must have been quite difficult, and because now to see, okay, right, he's reacted to something. Now you need to go in that bin, go find that particular. Did you place fruit to test him in the beginning?
Yeah,
a marked fruit or something.
The CRI has been amazing with sending me consignments of fruit. So they send me all from the same orchard fruit that is our control fruit that definitely does not have FCM in it, and then they send me a batch that is infested with FCM in their laboratories, and that's how we've been training it. And luckily my husband is a pack house manager, so he's supported me incredibly with running fruit through the whole process, waxing, drenching, checking for FCM, and then throwing it back out into the bins for us to test. So that's how we've been doing it. It's very difficult to be confident that there is no FCM in it before you add your own FCM. It's very important. So it's quite a schlep actually, but it's worth it.
Yeah, obviously in the long run it would be worth it.
It's so worth it.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think we should kind of wrap up, and if there's anything you'd like to add or finish with, maybe something like your thoughts for the future, your dreams for the future, your hopes about your project.
If I can be
you touched on it, but please go.
If I can be totally honest, I hope that this becomes incorporated into the FCM systems approach. That would be ideal, and I think it could change the way South Africa is looked at overseas with how well we are able to do pest detection. So that is my hope for the future. But if not, I hope to keep utilizing dogs to support South African farmers in any way, shape or need, because they do it. They do the job. And they get it done and you can't bribe them. You can't, you know.
I was thinking the same thing. Now you walk into a pack house, which in South Africa is predominantly black people who's normally scared of big dogs like that. They must be all standing on attention when the dog is coming past.
Yes, everyone's very polite.
Yes.
What do we call
including
you?
us?
Ma'am.
Yeah. The lady with the dog.
Yes.
She's here. So that would be my plans for the moving forward, and hope to keep supporting.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having me here.
It's fascinating.
I think we'll be talking again sometime soon.
I hope so. And any ideas of what directions we can move the dogs in and things to test and try, you know what I mean? There's no harm in trying. That's how we got here.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louise. Thank you.